Got the annual theme by heart now, right? I know at first it was tongue-tying, 3 E's, engaging, embracing, and embodying the divine. Our book of the month is Belonging to God, Spirituality, Science, and a Universal Path of Divine Love by William Keepan. Now, this book is really an exploration of divine love across many religions, returning to the interfaith theme. Whether East or West, it discusses and allows, it also illuminates equally what's known in modern science as well as in ancient wisdom, tying all of that together. And what is the universal path? Divine love, absolutely. The book is about inclusive spirituality, quoting many mystics and many spiritual paths. And from the introduction of the book, here's what he says. The transformative path of divine love is the greatness of all traditions. And it is their entire purpose in the first place to transform the human being into a living instrument of divine love and will. And I will say that as he spoke about will in the book, it's really about selfless service to one another. All right, so do you ever feel like words get in the way of what you're trying to say? Yeah. Well, as Dallas alluded, that's true of this subject too. So when I chose the word fire, I did not intend it to mean a real fire, but rather the fire of passion. Passion. How can you tell when someone is passionate? They're excited. They're giddy. They may talk a lot about it, that's right. They're emphatic, motivated.
You know it.
How do you know it?
The energy.
The energy. Is that what you referred to? Yes, you feel it, right? It's just almost a transferable feeling, is it not? So we're talking about the fire of passion today. So when I talk about love, I'm not talking about human love, which we all know has lots of quagmires, doesn't it? I'll never forget talking with someone in the past, and this may be true for some here today, saying, Kathy, when you talk about love, it's very difficult for me to grasp, as my family of origin was not a model for love, and I've had a lot of difficult relationships in my life. So when you talk about love, it doesn't feel the way that you speak about it. Well, I want to say human love and divine love don't feel the same. Is that surprising to you? Human love often arises within the realm of personalities. Now, we all know that we're spirit, and we uniquely express through spirit, and on those layers we have an identity, which I'm also going to refer to as ego. And so human love is often filtered through emotions, attachment, desire, expectations, and sometimes fear. Human love is a reflection of divine love, but shaped by our human perceptions and experiences. So human love says, I love you because, or I love you as long as, or when. It can fluctuate based on behaviors, conditions, or mutual needs of others. You think that's very true in family dynamics? Yes. And so human love often seeks affirmation or safety, even as it gives warmth and care. Now, human love is deeply valuable because it's a training ground for the grounding of the heart, yet it's often tethered to the ego's story of me and you. And what is that? Duality. Duality. Okay. So now let's talk in contrast about divine love. Divine love is grounded in being itself, capital I. Not something we feel about another, but something we are in the essence of our being. Divine love says, I love because I'm love. It's unconditional, changeless, inclusive. It loves without an object, without a demand, without an expectation, condition, or preference. Divine love is the very vibration of the universe. Ernest Holmes says, the self-givingness of spirit to its creation is love. It doesn't arise from emotion, but from realization. When the heart awakens to oneness, we experience divine love flowing through us, not from us for any kind of exchange. So, human love comes and goes. It frequently depends on others' responses. That's what we practice, is to always be of love, regardless of the reaction we may get. Human love may have edges and conditions and expectations, which can lead to both attachment and disappointment, because it's rooted in the emotions and personalities. And so then it may feel like a desiring, a wanting, or a needing. Divine love, however, again, steady and consistent, is radiant and unconditional. There's no attachment, no expectations. It is independent of circumstances. It's boundless and inclusive, extending even to those that we think we dislike or fear. It leads to peace, expansion, and unity. It's rooted in the awareness of being. Divine love feels like being free and allowing, rather than wanting or needing. You know you're resting in divine love when judgment dissolves and compassion rises. You feel an inner warmth that asks for nothing in return. You no longer seek to possess love, but to just express it freely. Love flows even towards those you oppose or misunderstand, and peace remains even when the relationships shift. Ernest Holmes says, love points the way, and law makes the way possible. Love is the self-givingness of spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. So human love is a reflection of and a spark of the divine love, but the divine love is fire itself. So the title, The Fire of Divine Love, showed up for me in many ways. First, reading the book, there is a chapter titled The Fire of Divine Love, and it states that that is the universal spiritual path. And I like the quote that said, "The depths of the heart unify what the mind divides." Again, the depths of the heart unifies what the mind divides. It's pretty powerful. Which means sometimes our mind thinks it's going to grasp it all, but the heart can go deeper. So that was one aspect of the fire of divine love. And as I mentioned, this week is Stop the Hate Week. And the Chico Area Interfaith Council actually has a grant, and locally there's a campaign to raise awareness about Stop the Hate and how to report hate and get resources if hate has been directed at you. Do we see any hate today? And the Stop the Hate started a while back because there was hate being thrown at what? Religions, races, sexual orientation. But of course that leads to the third reason, which is the nonpartisan No Kings protests and the current environment we live in, where others are made to be something other, stranger than us, and not loved, not seen as love. It's duality. So I've been asking myself questions about what's mine to do when the temperature for hate and fear has been rising. And the answer was not just love. It came to be there needed to be a deep and passionate fire to express that love. Scarlett, if you'll do the first slide. Thanks to Molly Millay, who actually posted this on Facebook. To defeat hate and fear, we must love louder. You know, when you think about it, hate and fear are here in the gut. So when we talk about love, it's not just the sentimental love. It's love so deep that it unifies. And that's what I felt at the protests yesterday. You know, I was a foreign exchange student when between my junior and senior year. And I remember coming back being very proud to be an American, United States of America. And I really felt people coming together yesterday was a demonstration of unity. That's what people want. And even though we have our differences and there's always been political back and forth about policies and approaches, it's never gotten to this point where they're saying, whether you believe it or not, that it's the largest protest the United States has ever experienced. And I felt the feeling of love for democracy. We are the people. And it was the love that I kept attaching to, like, what has driven this many people at this point in time to come out and be together? There is a deeper calling. There is the we must love louder. And you may say, what does that look like? But as you described earlier, the fire of divine love is a feeling that transforms, that people transcends, that people can feel. So, as I continue to ask myself, what does it mean to love louder? What does that look like? What is mine to do? A quote from this book says, "The mystical journey is a process that transformed the human disciple into this living fire of love. Ultimately, the fire of love burns away anything that is not love." Good visual, yes? I considered it a melting. Fire ignites, incinerates, purifies, and shines with brilliant light and warmth. There is no force in the cosmos as powerful as, not human love, divine love. Not that human love isn't a part of that, but going deeper. Nothing propels a spiritual evolution as swiftly as divine love. Love is the transforming fire. The fire of divine love shows love for one another no matter who you are. And even if you're a criminal, we still have processes and a way that we move somebody through the legal system. Divine love shows love for the country, for democracy, showing up as a daily fire of divine love with everyone you meet and everywhere you go. So I want you to just take a moment and imagine being on fire with divine love and walking down the street. What is that visual for you? Rumi says, set your life on fire and seek those who fan its flames. Was Rumi passionate? How do you know? You haven't seen him. How do you know? His words demonstrated the passion of divine fire. Rumi went on to say, how many there are who spend whole lifetimes in study, yet who have to confess to themselves in the end that nothing has happened. The light that was to have shone forth remained hidden, and the unitive knowledge of which they have read and argued so much has remained but a metaphysical theory. All this is through ignorance of the fire, which is the indispensable bridge for those who would in very truth make the journey. It's about experiencing it. Now, the book on page 200 has the principles of divine love outlined, but that was too much for this lesson. I invite you, I think there's still more books in the bookstore, yes, so I invite you if you'd like to take a look at that. The purpose of spirituality then is self-transcendence. Nobody's going to force you into transcending, are they? I mean, we do meet life sometimes with a lot of resistance, no? Frank Sinatra, I'll do it my way. The true purpose of spirituality is to be the essence of God, which is divine love. So now let's get more specific, and then I'm going to move into a guided meditation. To begin with, every movement that begins in a fire in the individual heart. You align your thoughts and your being with what is, which is that divine love that is at the core of you, that has never been harmed by anything that has happened to you. It is the truth of your being. It's the depth of your soul. And so through prayer, meditation, contemplation, forgiveness, we work at burning away the resentment, the fear, the hate, and the separation of otherness. This inner purification allows the divine fire to flow unimpeded so that our words and actions carry the vibration of peace and compassion. Ernest Holmes said, "We must know love before we can give it." And then we move from reaction to radiance. You know, hate and fear are contagious energies. Do you see that? Do you see that? But so is love. The news may not be publishing much about the love that goes on. But every time we choose love in the face of hate, a subtle alchemy occurs. Fear loses its power and hate exhausts itself because it's not our true nature. So it's going to spin and people will get caught up in that. But it's our spiritual practice to get centered so that we don't spin with that hate and that we find the deep love within that is the fire that lives on and cannot be diminished. The mystics call this the victory of light. As individuals and as communities, when we live as the divine fire of love, we don't fight hate on its level. We melt it through the greater power of love. And sometimes that means not having words get in the way. So repeat after me. I am the flame of divine love.
I am the flame of divine love.
But I got to have you mean it. I am the flame of divine love. I burn away fear, hatred, and separation.
I burn away fear, hatred, and separation.
Love that conviction. Now you know why I wore red. My heart is the altar where Spirit's fire lives.
My heart is the altar where Spirit's fire lives.
As I walk through this world, love blazes through me.
As I walk through this world, love blazes through me.
Transforming all it touches into light.
Transforming all it touches into light.
All right. So now we're going to seed that. If you'll get comfortable with your feet on the floor so that you're grounded, take in a deep breath, become connected to the beingness within you. Let your body relax. Shoulders, hips, jaws. Let your mind just be, not trying to direct it. And focus your heart. Focus on your heart as you breathe. Imagine at that center of your chest, there is a tiny golden flame. This is the fire of divine love. It's always been there. Eternal, unchanging, and radiant. And now with every breath, let that flame grow brighter, warming you from the inside out, melting any heaviness, any worry, any fear. Let that warmth spread through your whole body. Shoulders, hands, legs. You're now surrounded by a gentle field of light that is alive, luminous, and loving. This fire is not an emotion, it's your true nature. The love that is expressing as you. And as you continue to embody that, it burns away resentment, judgment, criticism, separation. And as it purifies, what remains is peace, compassion, and knowing that we are one. Continue to imagine that golden fire flowing beyond your body and expanding out into this room, filling this entire space. Every person here becomes a living flame, unique, yet part of the one great divine fire. Together we are a circle of light, a community of love in action. Now let the circle grow, spreading out into Chico. Spreading out across California. Across the nation, the United States of America. The fire of divine love travels like sunlight, touching hearts that are clouded by fear and anger and pain. Know that this fire of divine love touches and fear softens and hate dissolves. We are remembering who we are, expressions of the same divine presence. Continue to hold this image, the whole world bathed in golden light. Now the fire of love, divine love, is blazing gently in every heart. The earth itself glowing with compassion. This divine love is unstoppable, unending, and eternal. Now take a deep breath, feeling gratitude for this moment, gratitude for the flame within you and the shared flame within us all. And as you breathe out, imagine the golden light settling gently around you, not fading but resting. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, bringing that warmth back into this room. One final question. Are you ready to be the fire of divine love in our world? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Reverend Michael. Yes. I know. I put you into a soft space, and then I ask you a question about fire. All right. Thank you, everybody. Namaste.